And hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Weather University. I'm your host for the day, Storm Tracker 8 Chief Meteorologist Matt DiNardo. Great to be with you. So obviously the big story, you know what I'm going to be talking about. My type of weather, the heat. You know I love this stuff. And many of you think that I'm just completely crazy for loving this. But you know what? The reason why I love it, let me just have this conversation with you, is because I don't have to pick up a snow shovel ever. Like, I know there's no chance ever it's going to snow right now. And that's what I love about it. So the hotter it is, the better it is, because the further away it is from snow. That's just in my mental way. That's just how I think about things. All right, I know some of you are not big fans, but this heat is going to last a while. And so this morning, we talked about this a little bit. We have this thing over us. We call it a heat dome. It's not really a technical name, but when you think about it, it's a large area of high pressure, which usually means clear skies. And it's kind of just sitting there. It's holding in place. It's not moving. And the heat just continues to build and build and build. And so when we're looking at this, the heat's going to be with us all week. And I don't mean just during the work week, but probably into the weekend, and really could be into almost the 4th of July, at least July 1, July 2. There's some signs in some of the extended models that there might be a cold front trying to come through maybe by the middle of next week, and maybe that changes things around. We'll see how that is, right? Because sometimes the models can show those things and then they get washed out because the dome, the high pressure is just too strong. So highs are going to be from 95 to 100 almost every day. And of course, the heat index, what you feel, which is kind of like, I always call it the opposite of wind chill, right? Wind chill, you have cold temperatures, the wind blows, and it feels colder. Well, in summertime, you have, of course, the heat, the humidity, which makes it more tough to sweat, and so your body feels hotter, and that's really the heat index. And we'll be close to some record highs, that is. Well, let's talk a little bit more about this setup. First of all, we have heat warnings, excessive heat warnings in effect for everybody you see in purple. And in fact, since this morning when we were on the air for Good Morning Richmond 8 News at 9, more areas have been added to this. So specifically, they added the Virginia Cape. They've added pretty much all of Maryland now, including the coastal sections. They've gone down into the Shenandoah Valley, including Charlottesville, down to portions of Augusta County, Madison. What they haven't changed over yet is Louisa, Fluvanna, Culpeper. Culpeper has actually changed. Buckingham, Cumberland, and areas south and west. I got to believe that they might augment that. We'll have to wait and see, because really the difference is a degree or two. We're looking at a heat index today in Richmond of 110. Now the cutoff number is 108. So when you look at areas like Farmville, we're looking at a forecast heat index of 108. You have 109 in Louisa. You have 109 out to Wakefield. I mean, it's pretty intense stuff. And people say, do we typically get this? Not this hot. We get hot. I mean, it's summer, but maybe we get a heat index of 103, maybe 105, maybe 106. But every once in a while, we will get something a little bit hotter. The problem is this is going to hang around for a while. You look at the heat index tomorrow, 113, 114 in West Point, 110 Norfolk, 110 out to Farmville. So we have those excessive heat warnings today. They're going to probably be extended for tomorrow and even Wednesday, because we're still looking at intense heat over us, where you're looking at, a heat index of 110 to 114 in many areas. And then there might be, and again, a little bit of a downturn here. Once we get into Thursday, we're down to 110, then Friday 107, and then still hanging around 105 as we go into Saturday and Sunday. And you look at the gray bars there, those are my forecasted highs, 98, 99, 98. That's some pretty intense stuff. So you think, are we going to get any records? How close are we to the records? Well, I'm always going to try and put together something fun for you. So today I'm forecasting 98, and the record is 101 set back in 1988. So there's an outside chance if we can really overachieve, maybe we tie it. Tomorrow, 99, the record's 102 set in 2010. Again, we'd have to overachieve to get that. Then you look at Wednesday, 98, and the record is 100. possibility maybe to reach it or tie it. Now, I will tell you that some of the, weather guidance, the models we look at are forecasting temperatures at or above the records. The problem is, as we've been noticing, those models have been running a little bit too hot recently. So we're just kind of trimming it back just a bit. Then you notice Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you could see 96, 95, so a little bit farther away from hitting those records. I also did a little calculation last Friday, and I went back into the weather records. And one of the sites that I use allows me to easily go back to 1930. I know some of the weather records here in Richmond, which is stored at Wakefield, go back to the 1880s. But I went to 1930 using one site. And since 1930, think about this, right? How many days of summer is that, right? So you have, roughly 90 days of summer every, again, just ballparking, every year. So 1930 to 2025 is 95 years. You do some math calculations, 30 times 95. You get a lot of numbers there. We've only hit 163 times. So that's not a whole lot. You think about that, right? You think we've got to hit it more than that. We're in the 90s. We're 95 to 98. I mean, a gazillion times, it seems like. But to get to that magical century mark, it's actually kind of tough. And then to hit 101, we lose that even more, 42 times since 1930. And then to get to 102, look at how it drastically drops off. And then you see 3 times we've hit 105. Once 106 and once 107, which at the top of the screen is the all-time high, August 5th, 1918. I mean, that's some pretty intense stuff. So, again, we get hot, but we don't often hit triple digits. It's not, the deserts of the Southwest, which, it's Palm Springs today. It's 131 degrees or something like that. I mean, it does get pretty hot. But so this is unusual even for us to flirt with upper 90s and to get records like this. Now, as I said, this is going to hang around for quite some time. You can see that through the 8-day forecast. And then you're seeing these thunderstorm icons. And you're saying, oh, we got a chance of a break. It's a real tiny chance. In fact, looking at this, I mean, we're looking at maybe like a pop-up or rogue thunderstorm that somebody might get that might give you a 10-second relief from a shower. The problem is it drops the temperature, but the humidity doesn't change, so it's going to feel even worse. So is that good or bad? I mean, we're by the middle of the week, we'll be probably screaming for some rain, going, my lawn is brown, it's crusting over, my vegetable garden. So you want that. Make sure you're watering your vegetables and stuff too, by the way. So something to keep in mind. But again, this is going to be a prolonged period. As you see there, we go to next Monday, which puts us at June 30th, I believe. And then Tuesday is July 1, Wednesday, because Friday's the 4th. So that's going to be around for a little bit of time. So we have this heat, and I don't think this is the only time this summer we're going to be seeing heat like this. I think you know that. I think you've lived here long enough. So grin and bear. I know some of you that are really saying, I'm done already, uncle, waving the white flag. I think fall is something like, 90 plus days away. You have some time here or something like that. So wait for that. Snow, I've put a block on snow here in Central Virginia. It will not snow again until January 2030. I'm sticking to it. I just make that number up out of nowhere. I really have no control on that, as you know. Anyway, all right, we're going to make this a short with the university. But again, please take it easy out there. Some things you could do. Number one, if you are in construction and you have to work outside, you are, doing landscaping and stuff like that. You can see, by the way, through July 7th, we're running above normal, but it's not that deep red anymore. So that's good news, right? We're not in that, where we were in that intense red. So there is some relief coming added around the 4th of July and maybe a little bit beyond. But again, if you work outside, work in construction, work in landscaping, you're baking in the sun the whole time, try, if you can, wear light, loose-fitting clothing, drink plenty of water, stay well hydrated, stay away from alcoholic drinks. Those will tend to dehydrate you more. And if you can, shade once in a while, and maybe even get into the truck with the AC running and allow that to cool you down. If you start to feel the chills, you already have signs of heat exhaustion. You got to stop what you're doing. If it gets worse than that, you're not sweating well, things like that, you then have heat stress and possibly heading toward heat stroke. Please consult a physician ASAP. That's my 2 cents on that. Please stay safe. And I hope you all have a wonderful day and I guess somehow enjoy the heat. Maybe head to the beach or the pool. Bye-bye now, everyone.